guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today what I'm doing is a VR to Aiden over at Lunar Ascension. And the hashtag is called Random Confessions. So I've been trying to think of stuff for a couple of days, few days, amongst all the other hashtags that I was doing, and was writing down lists. And it's really hard because I am very much an open book. Most everybody, or at least my closest friends, know, the kind of person that I am. I don't really hold too much back, but there maybe isn't a whole lot, or maybe these parts of me I haven't really expressed them as much as I could on here. So first of all, I wanted to let you know, random confession is that there are many conspiracy theories that I believe in, namely aliens. I believe that aliens are among us. I believe that aliens have been here all along. I do believe in mermaids, not necessarily the mermaids that, are depicted in like stories like The Little Mermaid and stuff like that. But I do believe that there is some sort of humanoid type fish hybrid creature, or at least in the possibilities. There's been lots of stories throughout the centuries of encounters and stuff like that. And so, but getting back to the aliens, I believe that we are going through a disclosure, so to speak. I believe there is a deep state. I believe that many things have been happening for a long time. I believe that there's been like, how do I say this? Like cover-ups throughout history, and history conveniently molded in the direction that certain people in the deep state or in the elite families have wanted it to steer that way, meaning the way that history was recorded and or things destroyed in certain dynasties, like defacing of statues and stuff like that. But so I definitely believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. I do believe in like reptilians, and that they actually have like a home base here on Earth as well, but like in the inner Earth. I believe that the fairies, what people think of as fairies, are an alien race or a hybrid race that is part human and part extraterrestrial, that also has an inner Earth society. So yeah, I mean, I believe that there's lots of secrets that are, and most of you guys probably already know that this is how I feel about a lot of things. Cover-ups and, governments actually working with reptilians, different governments, and wars actually being like propaganda and agendas in order to push however they wanted societies and or the world to be steered in certain directions. So yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. But another thing, a lot of times you'll hear people talk about, those people that are always pushing love and light, because I'm one of those people that pushes it. But don't mistake that for people that only see the light. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, I'm just the opposite of that. I can see BS from a mile away. I can see manipulations. I can see agendas and intentions. Even when there's a mask, I see those things. And this is precisely why I don't like that I see those things. I don't like that my first instinct always goes to, I know why they did that. So that's why I push, because I do believe in the law of attraction. That's why I push light. I think that light is bringing everything out. I think it's illuminating everything, the light and the dark. It's not that I don't see the dark. I choose to, for my own self-preservation, mental and emotional and spiritual preservation, to focus more on the light side and those things that can help lift us up, rather than those things that can tear us down further and further and further. If I thought that it would help, and obviously I think it comes down to terminology too, what somebody might consider light, what somebody might consider dark. I mean, let's take, for instance, and I've had this conversation with my husband, let's take, for instance, Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars. When he was becoming Darth Vader and changing to the dark side, what were the things that he felt, and why was he changing to the dark side? Because he felt passion and love and anger and all those things that for them were looked at as going onto like the dark side. Whereas I think passion can be on two sides of a coin. I mean, you can have passion for something that you're doing, or you can be so overly passionate that you become obsessed with it, right? But I think there is like a fine line for all that. So, to say that when somebody is pushing, love and light, and, I get so sick of hearing, love and light and sending you love and light and all that. For me, it's not that I don't see the other. It's because I see the other that I try to push light, bring light to the subject, or bring light to the situation in order to illuminate the whole, if that makes sense. Another confession. I am a fixer. So what that means is I am a good listener. I hear what you're saying, but sometimes it's really hard for me to keep my mouth shut, because, let me give you for instance, when you have a friend that comes to you every 6 months because they're having relationship issues, okay, and you see patterns that they keep going for the same guy, or they keep doing the same things that are self-sabotaging, or it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut. It's hard for me to be that person that just goes, I understand. Yeah, I get it. Because when somebody tells me something, it's almost like I feel this need to fix it for them. Once they've told me, it's like there's no going back. So I take that upon myself and I carry it on my shoulders. And when there's nothing that I can do, because I like having control of my situation, and I know that that's not always possible. But for me, I'm the kind of person that when life throws something your way, I believe that you have a choice in either, I don't want to say wallowing in it, but being so absorbed in what's happened to you that you can't see what you need to do in order to get your way out of it. So I believe that there is like that victim mentality, or there's that victor mentality. Like, you know what? This has happened. I have grown from this. So, okay, now what do I need to do? And that's me. Something bad happens. I say, okay, so this has happened. This really friggin' sucks. This hurts like hell, whatever, whatever you're going through. I don't mean to make light of it. I'm just trying to show you what I mean. But I will feel what I'm feeling, whether that be anger, it doesn't matter. Hurt, pain, I will feel it. And then I say, okay, what do I need to do? And I don't squish it down. I feel it. I feel it intensely. But then I say, okay, what do I need to do in order to fix this How do I move myself out of it? Did I learn anything from this? 9 times out of 10, I did. But then another even harder lesson in the same round comes, in the same genre or same theme comes around, but maybe even higher, harder. But so sometimes it makes it difficult because it's hard for me to just take it and absorb it and just to be that shoulder that somebody wants to, just vent to. Because I carry it with me. I hold it in my body. It makes me physically ill. And I need a way of releasing it. And so that's what I do. I advise. I try to help somebody see it from a different point of view. And that's not always very popular. But I'm telling you, that's just how I am. I just don't know how to just squash my voice. I don't know how to do that. So that's one of the things about me that is a confession. I am a good listener. I'm a very good listener, but I'm also somebody that is not very good at keeping my mouth shut when I should just keep my mouth shut when somebody needs that person just to dump on. I just can't be that dumping ground. Confession, when I laugh really hard, I piss myself. I mean, a little bit, but enough, okay? Thank you, children. I can't stand bullying, but what I think is bullying is, I think this word is pushed around too much, and it's irritating, okay? And the reason I say this is because I think when you put something out there, like on a public format, and somebody responds, it may not be the response that you want as long as it's done in a respectful manner. I do not call that bullying. I call that having like banter, okay, or having a conversation. Because, I mean, I have lots of friends that I don't agree with everything, but we have that open exchange and we listen. And you know what? Even if you don't hear it right at that moment, at least for me, it soaks in and I learn from that. I soak in everything. But so bullying, I've always had this thing about bullying. When I was in kindergarten, on the school bus, a little boy that was littler than me was being bullied by a boy that was bigger. And so what did I do? I beat that little boy up that was on the bus, and then I got in trouble for being a bully. But all I was trying to do was just defend the other little boy. And yeah, I was a brick house, okay? I used to do gymnastics and all that good stuff. But so, yeah, I broke my arm when I was 3 years old because I fell out of a tree, if that tells you anything. So yeah, I've always been this person that always went for the underdog. I always wanted to help other people. That's always been my mission, always. And being that voice, because I've always had a strong voice. My mom taught me that, and I've always used it. So when somebody says bullying, I take it very, very seriously. But I think that word is used all too often when it shouldn't be. Like, for instance, like I said, giving a comment to somebody, unless it's of a very aggressive nature or mean-spirited, not having a difference of opinion. I don't think a difference of opinion on somebody else's channel is bullying them. You're on a public format, right? So, so another confession is I love certain shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And I mean, I watch it and I go, I can't believe it that people would put themselves through those situations and It just astonishes me, but I like watching it. I can't help it. I like watching it. Do I think anybody would normally date 25 women, or a woman would date 25 men in order to find that person? Do I think that you got to sleep with them in order to know whether or not you're sexually or compatible? I mean, what did they do? How many marriages from before, like 50 years ago? You got married, right? And then you learned those things and discovered those things about each other. So what surprises me when, this is my thought or my belief, it surprises me when somebody would have to feel bad for saying, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who is also, dating 25 people, okay? And exploring the different relationships and the personalities and stuff like that. But do you really have to be sleeping with all of them too, or sleeping with the top 4 or whatever in order to know whether or not that's right? And then if somebody comes up and says, well, I'm sorry, but that just doesn't reach my morals, and they would be shamed for that, for having morals? No. Yeah, I disagree with that completely. I know this is kind of crazy having this kind of talk on my channel, but it is confessions, right? So I'll be talking to the TV and going, well, what do you expect? My husband's like, they can't hear you. Just anyways, I love that. I just had another thought too. Confession. I have so many thoughts that go through my head that if I don't say it right when I'm thinking it, I lose it. And then 5 minutes later, I'll be thinking about something else and it'll pop back in. And I'll be talking with Summer, and then because we FaceTime a lot. And so then I'll go, damn it, I lost it. And I'll go, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but if I don't say it right now, I'm going to forget it. And lo and behold, I forget it. And then 10 minutes later, one word will oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's how my mind works. It's scattered and it's all over the place. And yeah, it's crazy, right? Another confession is, many of you guys don't know this, but last year, really my first year doing my first full year doing YouTube, I had so many things happen health-wise that I was going through that I lightly touched on it, but because I believe in the law of attraction, it was not something that I wanted to really put out there, because I think that when someone's sick, the more energy that they put into that and how they feel, how it makes them feel, I just believe that brings on more. So I didn't want to put that out for everyone, but now that I'm all clear, now I can talk about it. So the first thing that happened to me was I got all my teeth pulled. So these are false teeth, and that happened in the beginning of last year. Then after that, this thing that, it's not really sticking out right now. It does. It goes back and forth. I was told could be cancer. So I had that removed. Had to wait a week to find out it was not cancer. Then I went for almost 10 years without having a period and started having periods again last year. And I know some of this is going to be TMI for you, but they were so harsh that I went to the hospital a couple of times because I was bleeding so bad that I was losing pints of blood. And it was horrible. So that's when they tested, and I had problems down there, and cervical cancer came up. So they thought that I had that. I had an operation, and thankfully, after a week, found out I was good down there, although I did have a polyp, and I had that removed and myself cleaned and or scraped because I had a thick wall, which is what made them think cancer to begin with. And so then after that, like later in the year, I discovered a lump, and then my doctor had discovered a different lump in my breast. So towards the end of the year, I went and I got a mammogram and ultrasound. So I had that on my mind for about a month. So I had 3 separate cancer scares and all of my bottom teeth and dentures put in last year. 2019 was a very rough year for me. But I don't like putting that out there. Do I think that it's not being my authentic self? Absolutely not. The people that are closest to me, they knew what I was going through. But I didn't want to put it out because I think that the more that it's focused on, the worse that it can get. So, and I believe in the law of attraction. And one of the first things that got me into that was The Secret. And I remember that there was a quote from like Mother Teresa saying, they asked her, would you go to anti-war rally? She said, no, you would find her at a pro-peace. You see what I'm saying? It's all how you focus things. That's what the law of attraction is. In order to get the same kind of result, it's where you're putting your focus. So I choose to put my focus on the lighter side of things, the positive side of things, in order to draw more of those to me, rather than focusing more on the dark or the shadow or those negative vibrations that put you down, because it keeps on giving you more of those things. It's not that I don't see them. The fact is, I see them. I see them all too well. That's the first thing that I see. But I don't like that about myself. So that's why I try very hard not to focus on that. And I think that's pretty much all for today. I mean, it's been what, a 20-30 minute video. Sorry guys, but I wanted to do this. I told Aiden that I would do this. I want to support him and his channel, and I hope other people do this as well. And I'm sending you love and light. Thank you.